the headlines of this hour on VTV News. Vietnam and OECD strengthen cooperation. And later on, technological innovation drives Mekong Delta's growth. In our world news, EU nations prepare to tackle changes in the US tax policy.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is 3 p.m. local time and you're watching VTV News. I'm Huyền Trân with the top stories. During his participation at WEF Davos, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính met with the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development's OECD Secretary General Matthias Cormann. The Vietnamese leader expressed gratitude for the OECD support and partnership, highlighting the impact of two ministerial conferences on the Southeast Asia program held in Hanoi that strengthened OECD Southeast Asia relations. The Prime Minister requested the OECD's expertise and policy advice to help Vietnam enhance its competitiveness and meet global governance standards. He also sought assistance with finalizing key economic reports for long-term development planning. Secretary General Cormann commended Vietnam's outstanding role as co-chair of the OECD Southeast Asia program and confirmed the OECD's commitment to supporting Vietnam's development priorities. Also, during the World Economic Forum in Davos, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính held a meeting with Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof. The two leaders reviewed positive developments in the comprehensive partnership between Vietnam and the Netherlands and set new objectives to enhance relations.
At the meeting, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính conveyed his appreciation for the special relationship between the two nations and extended an invitation to the Dutch King and Queen to visit Vietnam. He proposed elevating political and diplomatic relations and called for concrete actions to implement the two strategic partnership frameworks on climate change adaptation and sustainable agriculture. He also advocated for expanding cooperation into high-tech industries, including semiconductor design and manufacturing. Additionally, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính asked the Netherlands to ratify the EU-Vietnam Investment Protection Agreement and support efforts to lift the European Commission's yellow card on Vietnamese seafood exports. In response, Prime Minister Dick Schoof expressed strong agreement with the proposals and affirmed the Netherlands' interest in exploring investment opportunities in Vietnam's semiconductor sector.
Vietnam is an agricultural country, so to increase export competitiveness and product value, the party, government, and National Assembly have recently implemented policies promoting the use of science and technology in production. In line with Resolution 57 of the Politburo and government directives, localities in the Mekong Delta are modernizing their production technology to achieve higher professional standards.
This cake production line can now produce over 122,000 assorted cakes daily, double the output of traditional methods. Through investments in modern technology, the business maintains continuous production.
Our machine has a metal detection system that immediately identifies and sorts out any metal contaminants. This gives me great confidence that our products are clean and of high quality when they reach consumers.
Currently, science, technology, and innovation contribute more than 30% of the added value in agricultural production. Businesses are actively investing in new applications to manage production chains more effectively.
We have recently implemented a data warehouse system for managing smart factories. All data is stored and processed through this software, providing an optimal and effective solution.
As costs continue to rise, adopting modern technology is essential for staying competitive in today's global market.
Vietnam's agricultural exports will soon exceed $62.5 billion USD. This growth depends on factories investing in modern technology throughout production, harvesting, and processing stages while diversifying products to meet demanding international markets.
Vietnam surpassed Japan for the first time to become Singapore's fifth largest seafood exporter last year. The country's seafood exports to Singapore grew by nearly 5%, capturing about 9.7% of the market share. And through various policies, Singapore continues to diversify its seafood import sources, creating heightened competition among exporting nations. Last year, Singapore imported seafood from nearly 100 countries and territories, with total imports valued at approximately $862 million. The Management Board of Dong Dang Lạng Sơn Economic Zone has announced the Lunar New Year operational schedule for its border gates. The Hữu Nghị International Border Gate will suspend operations from January 28th to January 31st. Pre-registered import-export goods will receive custom clearance from February 1st to February 4th, with regular operations resuming on February 5th. The Na Hing Auxiliary Border Gate and Tima Bilateral Border Gate will be closed from January 28th to February 4th, and also resuming normal customs clearance on February 5th. These scheduling arrangements aim to ensure efficient import-export activities following the holiday period. Now, with less than a week until Tet, this is the time when people typically go shopping for holiday preparations. However, this year's spending is forecast to remain flat. Many people are adopting a simpler, more frugal approach, prioritizing essential expenses that fit their family budgets.
While Tien's family usually spends tens of millions of VND on Tet shopping, including home decorations, kumquat and peach trees, gifts for both sides of the family, travel, and outings, this year they have reduced their spending to focus on essential items.
Usually, I spend about 50 to 100% of my usual budget.
According to surveys, more than half of respondents plan to reduce spending on cosmetics and decorations this year, choosing to focus primarily on essential Tet food items.
I'm not shopping as much this year. For example, I've bought fewer ornamental plants.
This year, I spent 30 to 40% less than I usually do. I prioritized essential items and foods, and I've also reduced the amount of decorations in my house.
According to a survey by PwC, 63% of consumers say they are paying more attention to prices this Tet and prioritizing essential goods over luxury items. While the Tet consumer market typically gains momentum after the Kitchen God ceremony, businesses and suppliers must understand current consumer spending trends to offer appropriate products for a successful holiday season.
Now, during the year-end season, many individuals and families attend holiday parties or travel to their hometowns. Since drinking and driving is unsafe, people often hire drivers to ensure they reach their destination safely. And this service sees increased demand during this period.
With a simple phone call or a few taps on the app, a resident of Thu Duc City, Ho Chi Minh City, found a driver to transport him and his vehicle home safely.
At the end of the year, there are many parties, so I use the Let Me Drive service to ensure safety, both for myself and others on the road, and comply with the law.
Driver service rates range from 6 to 16 USD for cars and 4 to 12 USD for motorbikes, varying by route and vehicle type. Given the high demand, drivers can earn 400 to 600 USD monthly by completing just 4 to 5 trips per night. Hung is one of the drivers of LMD Company. She enjoys the flexibility of her job and the chance to drive various vehicles.
To maintain good health and serve customers well during long driving shifts, I rest and sleep whenever I have free time between rides. Then when customers need me, I'm ready to drive.
Customer numbers have increased by 30 to 50% compared to previous months during the year-end period. To meet this growing demand, the company has continuously recruited additional drivers and implemented several support policies.
This is peak season for LMD. Customers have been booking through the app and calling the hotline non-stop, requiring us to have drivers on duty around the clock. Some drivers work as late as 3 to 4 a.m. to serve their final customers of the day.
Driver services not only meet transportation needs, but also provide a safe solution while promoting responsible traffic culture. As these services continue to grow, experts recommend customers choose reputable providers with transparent management systems to ensure their safety.
And before we move on to other important updates, let's take a look at the foreign exchange rates of today, January 23rd. Coming up next on VTV News. Thousands of families receive new homes ahead of Tet celebrations. And Vietnam promotes worship of Mother Goddess to international community. In recent years, the entire political system has supported efforts to eliminate temporary and dilapidated housing. And these initiatives have resulted in tens of thousands of new homes being built nationwide, with thousands completed just before year's end, bringing immense joy to disadvantaged families as they celebrate Tet and welcome the spring season.
With a $2,500 USD government subsidy and their own savings, Kain's family built their new home. Thanks to the generous help of local builders, construction costs were minimal. Now the family can celebrate a warm and joyful Tet together in their new home.
We are very happy to have this new home in time for Tet, thanks to the government's support. We will strive to work hard and ensure a stable future for our children.
By the end of 2024, Quang Nam Province had supported the construction of more than 4,000 new homes and repaired over 2,000 existing ones, with a total investment exceeding 4.5 million USD. In Quang Ngai Province, more than 1,700 homes were built or repaired for poor households in 2024.
While there are still many temporary and dilapidated houses remaining, we will focus on completing the construction and repairs after Tet to ensure all families have stable homes by October 31st, 2025.
Nationwide, more than 80,000 households will celebrate Tet in their new, sturdy homes. These families are likely to experience their happiest New Year yet.
This Tet, I'm so happy to have my parents move into the new house with us.
The tens of thousands of new homes built in 2024 stem from the central government's effective policies, combined with proactive efforts from ministries and local authorities, as well as strong support from businesses and the public. This initiative embodies the Vietnamese tradition of solidarity and mutual support.
The Vietnamese investor behind the Sekamen #1 hydroelectric project in Etapu province, southern Laos, has actively implemented social welfare programs for communities living downstream of the Sekamen River. These initiatives are transforming the lives of local ethnic communities. More to follow.
Busay organized the firewood he had gathered for his family's cooking. Since moving to the resettlement area 4 years ago, he no longer worries about his livelihood like he did in his old village.
Since moving to the resettlement area, not only has the hydroelectric project supported us with housing, but my family has also received rice for 3 years. The hydroelectric company also gave us 2 hectares of land to help establish a sustainable livelihood.
Though not part of the official resettlement program, Puvan, one of 20 such households, decided to remain in the area after helping construct roads for the project.
I run a grocery store and buy timber from local villagers. This provides my family with a stable income. The hydroelectric project has done a lot to improve the lives of the people.
Previously, Hindam Donkin was located in a remote area where people lived a semi-nomadic lifestyle. Access to education and healthcare was extremely difficult due to the 50-kilometer distance from the commune center. Moving here has made us very happy. The people's lives are improving, and everything is much more convenient now.
In addition to building homes, the Zekemen 1 hydroelectric project has provided essential infrastructure such as electricity, roads, schools, and clean water systems. It also supports residents in farming and encourages economic development. This effort has strengthened the solidarity between Laos and Vietnam.
Total investment for the project's social and environmental initiatives is about 30.3 million USDs. All resettlement areas were constructed according to international standards and have been highly praised, particularly by the Lao government, as a model project in Laos. To ensure the long-term stability of resettled families, we have cleared and improved land for each household, providing them with 2 hectares of rice fields and agricultural and fisheries extension centers.
Rising from poverty, Hindam Donkin Village aims to become a model community by 2027, ensuring all residents can enjoy more prosperous and fulfilling lives.
The reenactment of Lunar New Year or Tet rituals, once held at the Thăng Royal Palace, occur Wednesday morning at the Thăng Imperial Citadel. The rituals researched by the Thăng Hanoi Heritage Conservation Center feature hundreds of participants in traditional costumes, performing prayers and rituals, symbolizing sending off the old and welcoming the new for peace and prosperity. Witnessing these royal court rituals offers tourists a unique and emotional New Year experience. The worship of Mother Goddess, originating in northern Vietnam, is deeply rooted in the ancient Vietnamese people's indigenous beliefs. And at the start of each lunar year, Vietnamese people participate in Hầu Đồng or trance ceremony, highlighting its enduring significance in modern Vietnam's spiritual life. And this tradition was recently showcased in the Spring Journey with Ambassadors 2025 program. The ceremony's vibrant costumes and harmonious blend of music and lyrics captivated both local and international audiences. And these spiritual practices continue to shape Vietnam's cultural identity and development. In the heart of Cairo, one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world, there is a small corner that serves the flavor of a country thousands of kilometers away. It is a Vietnamese pho restaurant, where each bowl of pho is not just a dish, but a story about his homeland and a Vietnamese culture that's captivating local diners. In the following report, let's explore how Vietnamese pho is reaching the people of the Arab world.
This restaurant's famous Vietnamese traditional dishes have attracted the attention of many diners in Cairo. Each bowl of pho is tasty, but tangibly represents the love and pride of the Vietnamese living abroad.
Pho is a traditional and distinctive Vietnamese dish, so I wanted to introduce the cuisine to international customers, including those in Egypt. That's why the restaurant is named Pho Vietnamese. Egyptian cuisine is typically very salty, so when they try Vietnamese pho, they can appreciate the lightness and sweetness of the broth.
The pho noodles here are not made from dry pho or commercially made pho, but are handmade daily at the restaurant. The rice flour is carefully selected and kneaded. The pho noodle making machine has been brought from Vietnam to ensure each noodle is perfectly soft and chewy. This key factor makes the difference and ensures the authentic traditional Vietnamese flavor.
It was a very nice experience. It was my first time, so I'm very happy. And it's the first time that I didn't expect it, but I'm very happy.
Really good. The OG of also
The small, cozy restaurant, with its strong Vietnamese atmosphere, is filled with diners whether it's noon or evening. They come not only to enjoy the food, but also to explore the unique taste of Vietnamese cuisine.
Although Egypt has an abundance of spices like cloves, cardamom, cinnamon, and star anise, we import ingredients directly from Vietnam to ensure the traditional flavors remain intact.
We hope that each bowl of pho will teach people more about Vietnamese culture and people. It's about connection, sincerity, and warmth, just like the flavors of pho.
The quest to bring Vietnamese pho to the heart of the Middle East is a story of cultural exchange about how cuisine connects people anywhere. The Vietnamese restaurant in Cairo is not just where people come to eat, but also a place that connects people and cultures.
Coming up next in our world news. EU nations prepare to tackle changes in the US tax policy. And later on, ByteDance makes significant AI chip investments. Now moving on to our world news, European nations must prepare for potential changes in the US trade policy under President Donald Trump. French President Emmanuel Macron announced this after meeting with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz in Paris. The leaders emphasized the need to protect industries that might face US tariffs. And this concerning trade outlook comes at a difficult time, as Europe already faces rising energy costs from the Ukraine conflict and decreased trade with China. Chinese tech giant ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, is ramping up its artificial intelligence or AI infrastructure investments, planning to allocate over $12 billion to the sector in 2025. The company also plans to invest $6.8 billion abroad to enhance its AI model training capabilities, using advanced chips from NVIDIA, the American tech leader in graphics processing and AI. Now, during a speech delivered at the 2025 World Economic Forum WEF in Davos, Switzerland, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned that the climate crisis and uncontrolled artificial intelligence AI development pose existential threats to humanity's survival. Our following story has more.
In the presence of energy and technology industry executives, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres reiterated that the world must do much more to combat global warming.
When it comes to existential threats, nuclear is no longer alone. Today we face two new and profound threats that demand far more global attention and action because they threaten to upend life as we know it.
The UN chief acknowledged the significant contributions AI has made across various sectors. However, he expressed concern about the profound risks associated with this technology.
AI can be used as a tool of deception. It can disrupt economies and labor markets, undermine trust in institutions, and have chilling effects on the battlefield. And AI could deepen inequalities by excluding those without the resources or tools to benefit from its promise.
Secretary General Guterres emphasized that humanity is living in an increasingly disoriented world, making global cooperation to address the rising challenges of our time more urgent than ever.
A rare winter storm has swept across the southern United States from Texas to Florida, bringing heavy snow, hail, and freezing conditions. This weather phenomenon is highly unusual for a region known for its warm climate. And the storm developed when a frigid Canadian air merged with a moisture-laden low-pressure system. The severe weather has affected more than 235 million Americans. And as usual, let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.